The keychain in my hand felt heavier than it should have, like it was carrying the weight of 7 years I never saw coming. I stood there in the marble lobby of our Manhattan high-rise, my high-rise now, staring through those towering glass windows as Mason jabbed at the buzzer for what must have been the 5th time. His finger pressed harder each time, desperation creeping in like fog off the Hudson. The intercom blinked silently beside me, red light pulsing like a heartbeat he couldn't reach. From up here on the 22nd floor, I'd watched the whole thing unfold. 20 minutes earlier, he'd rolled up in a taxi. No sleek Porsche this time. That car. Gone. Repossessed just yesterday, the paperwork still warm in my lawyer's office. He froze on the sidewalk, eyes locked on the empty valet spot, one hand rubbing the back of his neck in that confused way he had when life threw him a curveball he didn't see coming. Then he grabbed his duffel bag, the one I'd gifted him for our 3rd anniversary, leather-worn soft from trips we'd taken back when things felt easy, and headed for the door like he owned the place. Like nothing had changed. My phone buzzed in my pocket for the 8th time in 10 minutes. I fished it out, watched his name flash, husband. Not anymore. I changed it that morning, right after signing the final docs that severed everything else. The buzzer rang longer now, insistent. Through the glass I could see the doorman, Carlos, my doorman, talking to him, hands up in that apologetic shrug. "Sorry, sir, but you're not on the list." Carlos had followed my instructions to the letter. I'd briefed him, the building manager, security, everyone who mattered, over coffee that same morning, voice steady as I laid it out. Mason's face twisted as I watched. Confusion melting into something sharper, his jaw clenching, shoulders squaring like he could will the door open. He gestured wildly at the elevators, at the life he thought was waiting upstairs. Our life. His phone was glued to his ear now, probably calling me. The texts started flooding in. "Where are you? What's going on? Let me up." I didn't read them. Didn't need to. I knew the script by heart, and just like that my mind drifted back to the dinner. 6 weeks ago. Candlelight flickering off crystal stems, laughter echoing in a rooftop lounge that screamed old money. The moment he'd looked across the table at her, Riley, and said those words that cracked my world wide open. "You've only gotten more stunning. Like fine wine, not aging, just better." His voice had that warm, admiring lilt, the one he used to say for me on lazy Sundays. But not anymore. Not in years. I'd smiled then, of course. Played the part. Squeezed his knee under the table, laughed along with the table. But inside, it was like someone had flipped a switch. From that night on, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. The late nights at work, the new cologne that wasn't mine, the way he'd angle his phone away, like it held secrets too fragile for daylight. And what I uncovered, God, it wasn't just an affair. It was a plan, a betrayal wrapped in dollar signs. He didn't just want out. He wanted to take half my future with him. But to understand how I ended up here, standing in this lobby with the power to keep him out forever, you have to go back further. To the beginning. The real one. Not the fairy tale we told ourselves, but the Tuesday in New York when a spilled coffee changed everything. It was a crisp fall afternoon, the kind where the city hums with possibility. I was 27, fresh out of law school, grinding as an associate at a boutique firm specializing in real estate deals, the kind that turn empty lots into million-dollar condos. That day, I was at a marketing conference in Midtown, killing time between panels on digital trends for property flips. Bored out of my mind, honestly. I wandered to the coffee station during break, reaching for a lukewarm latte when my hand brushed someone else's. "Sorry," I said, pulling back, and looked up into these warm hazel eyes framed by a messy mop of dark hair. He grinned, slow and easy, like we'd known each other forever. No harm done. Universe's way of saying we need better caffeine anyway. His voice had this low, playful rumble. Mason. 30. Then, a mid-level marketer at an ad agency downtown, the type who could sell sand in the Sahara. We ended up splitting that sad latte, talking through the rest of the break, about bad bosses, dream clients, the way New York chews you up if you let it. He made me laugh, real laugh, the kind that surprises you after a string of dates that feel like interviews. We skipped the next session, grabbed real coffee at a spot around the corner. Dinner followed, then a walk through Bryant Park where the leaves crunched underfoot like whispered secrets. By the time he asked for my number outside my hotel, nervousness flickering in his eyes, I was hooked. "I know it's fast," he said, hands shoved in his pockets. "But if I let you walk away without a way to find you again, I'll regret it for weeks." I gave it to him. That was 7 years ago. Our story unfolded like one of those rom-coms we'd binge on rainy nights. Steady, sweet, full of those little moments that make you believe in forever. He was ambitious, charming, the guy who remembered I hated olives and surprised me with olive-free pizza after a long day. I was practical, cautious, the lawyer who triple-checked every lease before signing. But with him, I let my guard down. Proposed after 10 months, over burnt toast in our tiny Brooklyn walk-up. No ring, just him setting down the spatula and saying, "I don't want to wait. Marry me, Lily." My heart said yes before my brain could catch up. We tied the knot 4 months later in a small ceremony upstate, his family cracking jokes, my mum dabbing her eyes. 3 good years followed. Maybe 4 if I'm kind to the memories. I made partner at 30, closing deals that reshaped skylines. He climbed too, landing a senior role that had him travelling for pitches. We upgraded from that walk-up to a cosy 1-bedroom with a view of the bridge, dreaming about kids someday, whispering plans over wine on the fire escape. Then came the windfall. At 31, my startup side hustle, an app for virtual property tours, blew up. Investors poured in, and just like that, $1.8 million landed in my account after taxes. Life-altering money. The kind that whispers possibilities. Mason was there when the call came, holding my hand as I stared at the email, half laughing, half crying. "What do we do with it?" He'd asked that night, curled up on the couch. "Invest smart. Maybe finally get a real place. Something ours." His eyes lit up. "A penthouse, with skyline views. For us. For the life we're building." We made love that night, slow and tender, like we'd rediscovered each other. I believed it. Completely. I was careful with the money. Lawyer habits die hard. Consulted advisors, set up trusts, kept it separate. The penthouse came first. A stunning 2-bedroom on the Upper East Side, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city like a painting. Hardwood floors that gleamed, a kitchen with marble counters where we'd host friends. I'd put it in my name only, not distrust, just smarts. "Stats say protect what's yours," my mentor had warned. Mason signed the waiver without a blink. "Your win, your rules. I'm in." We moved in on a sunny Saturday, boxes everywhere, laughter bouncing off the walls as we danced to vinyl in the empty living room. It felt like the foundation of everything, our future, solid and shining, but cracks form quietly, don't they? His career plateaued around year 5, still pitching ideas, but watching juniors leapfrog him. I'd come home buzzing from a big close, and he'd smile tight, say things like, "Must be nice having that startup safety net." Some of us grind without the golden ticket, jokes he'd call them, but they landed heavy, like stones in my chest. I tried supporting him, network intros, resume tweaks. "I don't need rescuing," he'd snap sometimes, eyes flashing. I'd back off, make home a soft place, compliment his pitches, listen to his frustrations over dinner. I got good at building him up. Didn't notice I was shrinking myself in the process. The 7-year mark slipped by unnoticed. Too busy, he with client dinners, me with closings that bled into nights. We talked trips, a cabin in the Catskills, but never booked. Lived parallel lives in that beautiful space, beds shared but hearts drifting. And then, the invitation, to that luxury dinner, the one that lit the fuse. Before we dive deeper into that night, The laughs, the wine, the words that broke me. Drop a comment below. What country are you tuning in from? We love hearing from our global crew. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. These stories, they're for the fighters, the ones who rise. Stick around. Oh, and one quick thing before we go back. If you've ever felt that first tiny crack in what you thought was unbreakable, you know what comes next. But trust me, the unravelling, it's where the real story begins. That invitation arrived like any other. Gold-embossed card in our mailbox, promising an evening of connections and cocktails at a rooftop spot in Soho. The host? An old agency buddy of Mason's, the kind of guy who name-drops clients like their family. We should go, Mason said, eyes lighting up over breakfast. Could be good for my pitches. Networking, you know? I cleared my calendar, because that's what partners do. Pushed a closing call, slipped into that black sheath dress that hugs just right, the one that makes me feel like I can conquer boardrooms or ballrooms. Little did I know, it was armour for a battlefield I never saw coming. The rooftop was everything you'd expect from a luxury dinner in New York. Twinkling string lights draped like stars, the city sprawl humming below us, air thick with jasmine from potted blooms and the faint tang of expensive bourbon. Tables groaned under charcuterie boards and artisanal cheeses, wine flowing like it was water from a tap. About 20 of us, a mix of ad execs, influencers, and the occasional creative type who made it all feel effortless. I scanned the crowd, nodding at familiar faces, playing the polished lawyer role. Handshakes firm, smiles genuine, questions that draw people out. Then I saw her. Riley. Standing by the railing, laughing at something the host said. Her head thrown back in that free, unfiltered way that turns heads. She was in a simple emerald slip dress, hair loose and wild like she'd just stepped off a photo shoot in Marrakesh. Beautiful, sure, but it was the ease, the glow that hit me. Mason's hand on my lower back went rigid. Froze, really, like all the air had been sucked out. I felt it before I saw it. The shift. That invisible thread pulling taut between them. You didn't mention she'd be here, I murmured, keeping my voice light, like it was just small talk. I didn't know. Vanessa must have invited last minute. His words came out clipped, eyes already drifting her way. Vanessa, the host's wife, all air kisses and designer heels, swept in then, linking arms with us both. Darlings, you made it. And Riley's back in town. Fashion Week, darling, you remember her from Mason's agency days. She said it with that casual flair, like reuniting exes was just party flair. Riley turned, her smile slow and knowing, dark eyes locking on Mason first. Then me. Hi, she said, voice like velvet over gravel, extending a hand. You must be Lily. I've heard so much. Her grip was cool, manicure flawless, deep red like a warning. All good things, I hope, I replied, matching her smile, though my stomach twisted. We all know that's code for I know who you are. Seating was fate's cruel joke, or Vanessa's seating chart. Riley across from us, just left of Mason, perfect line of sight. I was on his right, the dutiful wife, napkin in lap, wineglass in hand. Conversation bubbled up easy at first. Shop talk on viral campaigns, the latest TikTok trends bleeding into ads. I chimed in when it fit, asked about her line, played nice. But I watched him. Watched the way he leaned in when she spoke, his laugh fuller, eyes brighter than they'd been in months. The Mason from that coffee spill, alive and animated, pouring all that charm her way. So, Riley, someone prompted. Tell us about the new collection.
Paris, right?
Sounds glamorous. She waved it off modestly, but dove in. Sustainable fabrics sourced from Bali markets, pop-ups in Tokyo blending streetwear with couture. Passion dripped from every word, her hands gesturing like she was sketching in air. Impressive, genuinely. The table leaned in hooked. And Mason? His face softened, that mix of pride and something deeper flickering. That's incredible, he said, voice low, sincere. Meaningful work. You always had that vision, turning ideas into something real. Riley met his gaze, a beat too long. You taught me that, actually. Back when we were chasing dreams in cramped lofts. Life's too short for anything less. The table chuckled, a soft ripple, but I felt it land like a stone. Took a slow sip of my Pinot, let the tartness ground me. They fell into easy rhythm after that. Inside jokes about agency mishaps. Shared glances over, remember that pitch in Chicago? He threw his head back, laughing at one, full-throated, the sound I'd missed without realizing. Stories spilled out in tandem, them finishing sentences like old dance partners. Funny stuff, a botched client demo with props gone wrong. I laughed too on cue, but inside it burned. He'd never mentioned Chicago, or her. Ancient history, I told myself. Exes happen. But the way he looked at her. It wasn't history. It was hunger. Courses came and went. Oysters on ice. Seared scallops that melted like butter. Wine loosened tongues. Conversations splintered into pairs. Vanessa cornered me on gala planning, her charity schmooze, and I nodded along, half listening, eyes flicking left. Mason and Riley deep in it now. Her abroad years, his stuck-in-the-grind confessions. 5 years jetting, Colombia then Sydney. Engaged once, but...
Not right.
You know how it is, waiting for that spark that fits. Her eyes flicked to him, subtle as a shadow. He caught it, held it. The city's brighter with you back, the host toasted later, glasses clinking. Mind steady, face composed, but beneath, a slow quake building, dessert hit, chocolate taut, berries glistening like jewels. The table buzzed, wine high and loose. I was mid-chat with a creative director about lease loopholes when his voice cut through a lull. Clear as crystal. You know, Riley, you've only gotten more stunning, like fine wine. Not aging, just better. Laughter rippled. He said it looking right at her, open admiration in his eyes, that soft smile reserved for moments that matter. The table cooed, Vanessa teasing. Careful, Mason. Lily might stake her claim. Heads turned my way, expectant. His hand found my knee under the table, a quick squeeze. Just a joke. Old friends. Don't overreact. I covered it with mine, squeezed back. Turned to her with what I hoped was effortless grace. He's right, you do glow. Must be all that globe-trotting magic. More laughs. It passed, but the words lodged in me sharp and cold. The rest blurred. Goodbyes, hugs that felt scripted. I even embraced Riley, her perfume, jasmine and something sharper, lingering as she whispered, so nice to finally meet the woman who tamed him. Tamed, like he was a project. The drive home was silent, city lights streaking past like accusations. Good night? Mason ventured finally, casual as ever. Yeah, food was divine. Pause. Riley seems great. He shrugged, eyes on the road. Yeah, she's cool. Weird seeing her after all this time. You called her stunning. It slipped out softer than I meant. What? Oh, come on, just being nice. She's been through hell with that ex. No big deal. Uncertainty edged his tone, like he was rewriting the script in real time. Worse than denial, I let it drop. We did the routine. Teeth brushed, lights off. He was asleep in minutes, breathing even beside me. I lay there till dawn, sealing a blank canvas for replaying it all. His light when he saw her, the ease, the way he'd stopped looking at me like that years ago. Questions bloomed in the dark. Who was this man? What had I missed? And why did our home suddenly feel like borrowed space? Morning came grey and heavy. No confrontation, not yet. But I started watching. Really watching. It's funny how suspicion sharpens your eyes. The phone, always face down now, password changed overnight. Security thing, he said when I asked to borrow it for a quick call. Handed it over unlocked but hovered like a shadow. The new gym routine, shirts fitting tighter, that cologne, sandalwood not the citrus I picked. Smiles at notifications, private and soft, the kind work never earned. 3 days post-dinner, I logged into our shared Venmo, household stuff, nothing sneaky. But there, flowers to an address downtown, $120, not mine. A bistro tab on a Tuesday late meeting night, $85 for two. Coffee runs in Chelsea, the artsy spot he claimed bored him. Small hits, but they stacked, a pattern emerging like ink under UV light. I could have asked. What's going on? I feel distant. Healthier me would have. But fear whispered, what if he lies? What if the truth guts me before I'm armoured? So I did what I know best. Built a case. Pulled phone bills. Shared plan, easy access. Unknown number. Calls spiking evenings. 45 minutes, 1 hour 20. While I prepped dinner alone. Credit cards next. Joint for groceries, utilities. Charges popped. Wine bar in West Village, $110, hotel downtown one night, checked in 8 p.m, out 11:45, under 4 hours. Close enough to home, far enough to hide. My hands shook as I screenshotted, heart hammering like a gavel. Not accident, intent. That afternoon I called in sick, first time in years. Assistant fussed. I waved it off. Waited till his footsteps faded down the hall, then slipped into his home office. Neat as always, desk like a showroom, drawers first, nothing but files, tax stubs. Briefcase on the chair, inner pocket, a crumpled receipt. That same hotel last week, 250 room, 4 hours. Numbness spread, fingers tingling as I smoothed it flat, snapped a photo, tucked it back. Sat in his chair, breathing shallow. Grief hit then, raw and sudden, not shock but mourning. For the man I'd built this with. The vows, the dreams. 10 minutes I gave myself. Timer on my phone. Let the tears come, hot and silent. When it beeped, I washed my face, stared in the mirror. Red-rimmed eyes, but mine. Still here. Done pretending, needed proof, ironclad. No assumptions in court or life. Laptop locked, new pass. Tried birthdays, anniversary, nothing. I'm no tech whiz, but I knew someone who was. Scrolled contacts to Alex, a dev from my startup days, discreet as a vault. Personal favour, I said when he picked up. Need to mirror his email, texts, without a trace. Pause on his end then. Marriage stuff? Yeah, proof before I blow it up. Grey area, Lil, but for you, send me access when he's out. 10 minutes install, remote view after. He'll never know. It felt like falling, clicking send on his instructions later that week. Mason out for drinks. Software slipped in quiet, a ghost in the machine. Closed everything pristine. Retreated to the bedroom. Lay on our bed, my bed now, staring at the same ceiling. Waiting for the sink to hit. First ping came at 4:17 p.m. I was on the couch. Reviewing contracts. Really refreshing the dashboard every 5 minutes. Email thread loaded, subject. Missed you last night. From him to her. Same spot Friday? Bring that smile. It's all I need. Her reply synced live. Your trouble. 8 p.m. Wear the blue shirt I like. My throat closed. Set the laptop down gentle. Bolted to the bathroom. Vomit came fast, bitter. Rinsed, returned, read it again. Scrolled back. Months of it, 4 easy. Not reunion at the dinner. Prelude. Early ones coy. Coffee as friends? Catch up on old times? His. Best news all year. Name the spot. Then deeper. Him venting career blues, her soothing, she doesn't see you like I do. Stuck in her deals, not your fire. His reply, you always got me. I paused there, water glass trembling. She doesn't see you. 7 years of me seeing, cheering promotions, holding him through layoffs. And this? Me as the villain in his rewrite kept going. Intimate now, laced with heat. Can't stop thinking of your hands. Stolen meets, hotel logs matching texts. Then 3 weeks back, I need all of you. No more hiding. Her, you have me. Always did. Let's plan the exit. My pulse thrummed. Text loaded next, hundreds. Last night was fire. When do you tell her? His. Soon. But smart. House is hers. Startup funds locked. Divorce means I get half, right? Half. The penthouse, my blood sweat app money. He'd signed away claims, but now. Research history popped. NY divorce laws separate property. Alimony if spouse earns more. Planning his payout while kissing my cheek goodnight. Photos hit last. Them. Coffee dates, her in his passenger seat laughing. Selfie in sheets, clothed but close. Necklace on her. Gold chain I'd eyed for myself. Cross-checked Venmo. $450 jewelry. Gift for investor. Me? Forgotten. By 6 p.m. Folder built. Screenshots, timelines, receipts. Case airtight. His text buzzed, late pitch. Grab takeout? Love you, love you. Empty as echo, I replied, sure, feel better soon. Lie for lie. 3 hours till home. His pitch with her. Time to decide, rage or precision. As the lawyer who'd flipped failing deals, I chose the latter. Confront, no, strike first, but tonight. I needed eyes on it. The text named the spot. Speakeasy in the village, their hideout. Self-torture, maybe. But proof like seeing. Unshakable. I dressed down. Jeans, hoodie, glasses over contacts. Invisible. Dusk fell cool as I drove. City pulse mocking my calm. Parked a block away. Slipped in shadows to the patio edge. Heat lamps glowed. Patrons bundled against November bite. I claimed a corner table, ordered black coffee. Bitter anchor. Through French doors. Perfect view. Mason at a banquette, scrolling. Smiling at her incoming text. She arrived at 8:05. Scanning till her face lit. Emerald coat shed, revealing that slip from the dinner. Beautiful, yes. He stood, pulled her close. Hug lingering, hands low on her back. Sat, ordered without menus. Regulars. Leaned in, hands linking across the scarred wood table. Her laugh peeled at his words, head tilt classic. His thumb traced her knuckles. Absent, intimate. I sipped coffee, gone cold. Watched him alive in a way our dinners hadn't seen in years. Toasts clinked. To us finally free. Food shared, forks crossing plates. She rose for the ladies. His eyes followed, appreciative. Phone out. My buzz, running longer than thought. Home by 11. Miss you, miss you. While holding her hand, I typed, no rush, take care. Watched him read, pocket it, smile as she returned. They fed each other dessert, tiramisu, 1 spoon. Easy, unhurried. The thrill of secrets check came. He paid our card. Irony twisted deep. They rose, his arm around her waist, kiss at the door. Soft, promising more. Car pulled up. He opened hers, tail lights fading into night. Tears came then, silent tracks in the chill. Paid cash, too much, walked to my car on numb legs. Home automatic, body on autopilot. Changed, slid into sheets still warm from his side. Slept hard, dreamless. Woke resolved, tomorrow the lawyer. Tonight the end began, but oh, friends, if you've ever sat in the dark, piecing together the lies like a puzzle you wish was wrong. Hold on, because what I found next, it wasn't just heartbreak. It was a blueprint for ruin, and I was done being the blueprint. The morning light filtered through the blinds like it was trying too hard to pretend everything was normal, but nothing about that day felt ordinary. Not with the scent of her perfume, faint jasmine, mocking, still clinging to his shirt, crumpled on the chair. Mason stirred as I slipped from bed, his arm flopping across the empty space where I'd been. I dressed quick in the bathroom, suit sharp as a blade, charcoal blazer, heels that clicked with purpose. This wasn't just another closing. This was mine. By 9 a.m. I was in Sophia's office, top divorce attorney in the city, the woman who'd shredded bigger egos than his over coffee. Her space screamed quiet power, leather chairs that swallowed you whole, walls lined with case wins framed like art. No small talk. Lay it out, she said, leaning forward, pen poised. I did. Emails printed, texts highlighted, receipts fanned like evidence in a trial. The works. She scanned it all, face unreadable, then set the stack down. How are you holding? The question caught me, Not strategy first, but me. Pissed, I admitted, voice cracking just a hair. And scared. What if he fights dirty? Sophia nodded, like she'd heard it 1,000 times. Anger's fuel, Lily, use it. You're gold here. Separate property from your startup, prenup waiver he signed. No alimony shot. You out-earn him marriage under 10 years. But that investment to her? Clawback City if it's commingled fraud. We freeze joints today, locks tomorrow, file by noon. He moves out. You control narrative. We mapped it. My half from shared accounts pulled clean. Documented deposits, his untouched. Cards closed, my balance zeroed. Penthouse secured, sole owner, his key obsolete. Movers booked for dawn. It'll sting, she warned, eyes steady. Blindsided men lash. Promises, tears, the works. You solid? I thought of the bar, his thumb on her skin. The love you text mid-lie. Solid, noon hit. Calls flew. Bank rep on speaker. Transferring your portion now. Click. Cards. Account terminated. Balance cleared. Locksmith. Team at your door by 5. Movers. Full pack out? His items only. Storage unit in his name. From my car in a garage lot. I dismantled us with the efficiency I'd honed on $1,000,000 flips. Felt like exhaling after holding breath too long. Powerful, right. Home by 4. Penthouse quiet as a vault. His office untouched. His domain, but not for long. I wandered rooms, tracing walls I'd chosen, counters we'd laughed over. Mine. The locksmith came at 5:15, keys new and cold in my palm. Satisfaction bloomed quiet and fierce. New codes set, doors tested, secure. His text at 6, stuck at office. Order in. I knew office meant her loft, tangled sheets. Replied, eating light. Long day, no love. No bait. 9 p.m. I drafted the email in his office, cursor blinking like judgment. By now your key won't turn. This penthouse is my separate property. You signed that. You're out. Belongings packed tomorrow, address via your lawyer. Divorce filed. I know about Riley, the affair. The $50K investment from our joint to her startup, fraudulent transfer, traceable. All of it, no denials, no contact. Attorneys only. Mine. Sophia Reyes, and Asok. Get counsel, now, read it thrice. Stripped emotion, left facts. Saved as draft. Send post movers, when wheels turned irreversible. Bed at 10, his side cold. He'd crashed at a buddy's. Location pinged the hotel. Same one. I powered off, slept deep. Dawn broke with the buzzer. Movers at 8 sharp. 3 guys in crisp uniforms, dollies rolling like thunder. His office, closet, gym bag, I directed, voice even. Sticky notes marked his. Suits, shoes, that cologne bottle mocking from the shelf. Mason stumbled out at 8:45, hair tousled, eyes bleary from whatever afterglow he'd chased. Froze in the hall, staring at the chaos. What the hell, Lil? Rubbing sleep, confusion thick. You're leaving, I said, calm as lake water. Movers have your things. Storage unit ready by lunch. He blinked, glanced at the crew boxing books. Joke, stop them, mistake. No mistake. This is my home. You're not welcome. Face cycled, shock to anger, red creeping up his neck. You can't just, I live here. 7 years. You did. Past tense. Waiver you signed, separate property. Check with a lawyer. I handed coffee, black like it was any Tuesday. His voice rose, cracking. What's this about? Dinner, Riley? It was nothing, old friends. I met his eyes steady. It's about the 4 months. Hotels, lies, texts planning your exit strategy. And the money, Mason. 50K from our joint to her startup. Her fashion line? That's not investment. That's gifts. Traced every cent. Colour drained, mug trembling. You snooped? That's proof. I pulled the folder, prints, timelines. Flipped to the thread, transfer sent. Our future starts now. Her, you're brilliant. She'll never know. He stared, mouth working silent. Then the twist hit, the one that gutted me deepest. I slid another page. Old college photo, us three, me, Riley, freshman dorm, arms linked. And this? She's not just your ex. She's my old roommate. The one I lost touch with after graduation. You knew she targeted us. Steal him back, she wrote. Manipulated the whole thing, for the thrill, the money. You were her mark. His knees buckled against the island, face ashen as the marble. Lily, It wasn't like that. I got caught up. Save it! Movers paused, professional silence. She used you same as you used me. But I'm done. Papers serve tomorrow. Take the bag, go! He lunged, grabbing my arm. Not hard, but desperate. Please, we can fix this. Counselling, anything. I love you. The word hung hollow. I pulled free gentle, called out, Carlos? Security if needed. Doorman appeared in the hall, shadow solid. Mason deflated, eyes wet. Who are you right now? Someone who sees clear, I whispered. The Lily you forgot. He grabbed the duffel, stormed out, door clicking final as new lock held. Movers finished by 11, truck rumbling away with his life in boxes. Penthouse echoed empty, lighter. Phone rang, Sophia. Filed, served by courier this afternoon. Relief washed, shaky. Thanks. You? Free. And God, I meant it, but wait, there's more to this unravelling, the kind that tests if you break or bend. Because as the dust settled, and his calls lit up my silenced phone, I realised this wasn't the end of his play. It was mine to rewrite. As the dust settled and his calls lit up my silenced phone like fireflies in a storm, I realised this wasn't the end of his play. It was mine to rewrite. The papers hit his desk that afternoon, courier at his agency's lobby, envelope crisp and final. Sophia texted me the confirmation. Served. He's lawyered up, junior firm scrambling. I pictured it. Mason in a conference room, face paling as the words sank in. No penthouse, no payout. Just the waiver he'd signed in good faith, or so he'd thought, staring back like a mirror to his missteps. He tried, of course. Voicemails piled first. Lily, please. Talk to me, this is insane. Then text through a burner. I messed up, but we can salvage. For us. By evening, his attorney called Sophia. Bluster about emotional duress. Claims he'd contributed to the household. Fishing for alimony scraps. She dismantled it in one email. Separate property doctrine, NY Family Code 236B. Prenup waiver irrevocable. Fraudulent transfer reversed. 50K clawed back pending audit. His lawyer folded fast. No leverage. No fight left. Riley ghosted him by week 2. I'd heard through a mutual. Her line's investor bailed. Startup stalled without the cash infusion. Turns out, the thrill of stolen nights didn't cover rent in her Brooklyn walk-up. She packed his duffel with a note. This was fun, but reality bites. Take care. He crashed on couches after, agency buddies tiring quick of the drama. By month 1, a sublet studio in Queens, peeling paint, subway rumble at dawn. The Porsche. Repoed mid-commute, leaving him on the L train, tie askew. Me? The quiet strategy unfolded like a well-negotiated lease. Clean, binding, forward. Penthouse transformed slow. His office gutted. Walls painted soft sage. Bookshelves stocked with my reads. Real estate memoirs, self-help on boundaries. Kitchen Island became my ritual spot. Morning matcha, laptop open to new deals. Energy returned. The kind I'd poured into holding us together. Closed a Tribeca flip by week 3. Bonus fat enough to seed a side fund. Lily's exit vault. No more joint anything. Therapy started week 4. A group for high achievers navigating betrayal. Circle of women swapping war stories over Zoom. Indifference isn't cold, our facilitator said one night, voice steady as mine had become. It's the warmest freedom. You don't hate. You just release. I nodded, feeling it click. Mason's shadow fading. Text from old friends trickled back. Heard, you okay? Drinks? I said yes. Laughed real again, over tapas in the village. No ghosts at the table. Career surged too. Without the emotional fog, Focus sharpened, landed a portfolio for a tech mogul's holdings, the kind that pads resumes and egos, even toyed with a podcast, silent strategies, bites on financial armour for women in the trenches. First episode outline: why your money isn't just numbers, it's your map out. Guests lined up already, voices like mine rising. 6 weeks in, I stood in that same marble lobby, glass cool under my palm. The buzzer flashed urgent, his figure blurred beyond, duffel slung over shoulder, cab idling curbside. Last grasp at the life he'd gambled away. He jabbed once more, shoulders slumping as Carlos shook his head. Taxi door slammed. Taillights bled red into dusk. I turned from the window, heels echoing soft on stone. Elevator chimed open, doors sliding like an invitation. Stepped in, pressed penthouse. Ascended smooth, city shrinking below. Tiny lights, infinite paths. Doors parted. Hallway hushed. My key turning easy in the lock. Inside, the space breathed different now. Open, mine. Kicked off shoes, bare feet on cool hardwood. Poured a glass of that Pinot from the dinner, the one that had tasted bitter then. Now, rich, full, sipped by the window, skyline sprawling like a promise. Somewhere down there, Mason pieced his next chapter. Maybe calls to Riley echoes unanswered. Blaming me, the cold one. Let him. His story, his script, mine? This, walls I chose, deals I closed, quiet nights where my reflections smiled back unbroken. You see, the real twist in all this wasn't the money or the lies. It was me. The woman who'd shrunk to fit his doubts, now expanding into spaces he'd never imagined. Betrayal doesn't end you. It excavates, digs out the parts too small for your soul, leaves room for reinvention. And indifference? That's the crown jewel. Not revenge in screams or schemes, but in walking away whole, building empires where their echoes can't reach. So here's my quiet truth, whispered across these words. The best strategy isn't destroying them, it's erasing their shadow from your empire. Protect your funds early, separate accounts, waivers signed in love's glow. Spot the red flags, jokes that sting, phones that hide, investments that smell off. Build that exit vault not out of fear, but fierce love for the life you deserve. And when the cracks show, don't patch, plan, precision over panic. You've got the power, claim it. If this hit home, share below. What's your biggest red flag in love or money? Or that one tip you'd give your younger self? Hit subscribe. We're in this together, rising one story at a time. Thanks for listening. You've got this.